So right now I am in a hotel in Kyoto, the ancient capital of Japan. I came here for a public lecture attached to literary prize ceremony for essayists from all ages, and it was a really great occasion. Anyway, so I came to Kyoto, and I'm in hotel room, and they reporting from Ukraine. I do hope that peace will prevail soon, and I do hope that President Putin would come back to his senses, and I think there will be a ceasefire and so on. So I have been watching CNN and BBC, and let's face it, these news outlets are having the day. It's not that they welcoming the situation. Of course, it's a terrible business for anybody, but it's a fact that CNN grew at the time of the Gulf War, and BBC World also would be, really kind of positioned to reaffirm their significance because as a news outlet, and I know there's a debate going on in the UK about the nature of BBC, whether the television license system should be kept as it is now. And the fact that the BBC is covering all these news from Ukraine would be beneficial for the executives at the BBC. I can imagine that. So there are all these considerations, and there are these plus effects for the news outlets. Having said that, they are serving a public, purpose of sharing information about this really serious situation. So I'm not criticizing these news outlets. Of course, everything is a business. In this world, everything is a business, including the charity organizations. So, like, Save the Children, Medicine Sans Frontiers, and all these, wonderful organizations. There are some aspects that are, business oriented. So it's no wonder that these news outlets have their business concerns. And I should say this is a boom for their business, this Ukrainian crisis. So that is the kind of a double-edged sword situation. And I think probably it's a good idea that these news organizations have a healthy financial profile right now, because we do need these news outlets. However, we should also keep in mind that the videos that they report, the footage that they cover, are just a tiny, tiny part of what is going on in Ukraine. There are many unreported casualties, tragedies, underrepresented voices, and unheard of tragedies in the literal sense, because we don't hear these voices. And Albert Einstein once said that imagination is more important than knowledge. I think this is especially true at a time like this, because we know what's going on in Ukraine through the reportings of these brave journalists and really well balanced coverage of the situation. But at the same time, it is a fact that we don't actually know the majority of what's going on in Ukraine. The children's tears, the separation of families, and saying goodbye to your loved ones, often forever. These things are not reported. It is not possible to report these things. With the advent of the social media, we have more access to the personal experiences, because when they do let the information out. But however, even in this domain of social media, focus will be put on the more dramatic footages, the more salient videos, and more nuanced, delicate observations about the war, and also more, feeble, subtle tragedies in Ukraine would go unnoticed, not only by the major news outlets like the CNN or BBC, but also by the majority of us. I do my best to know what's going on in Ukraine, but I can't, really you hope to know all that is going on in Ukraine, and that's the nature of the world. I have my life, I have my businesses, and I have things I have to do. And during the course of the day, I try to, get info on this really wonderful, important matter, but I cannot do that as I would have liked to do. So, Albert Einstein's adage that imagination is more important than knowledge is especially true for the situations in Ukraine, because we should imagine the terrible affairs that are going on in this country, no matter how excellent the news report of CNN and BBC are. I mean, we should always imagine the terrible effect that this war is having on people's lives. Maybe we should remember John Lennon's wonderful song, John and Yoko Ono's wonderful song, Imagine, because by imagining, we can really, hope to bring peace. And in order to bring peace, we should really imagine the terrible atrocities that go on in Ukraine. Otherwise, we cannot really get up our courage and energy to stop this terrible war. So imagine is really an important verb in this situation, and imagination is more important than knowledge. In this too, as in the sense of a creative life that Albert Einstein originally referred this really famous adage to.